This here is my Dell Optiplex 3050, and if you watched the previous video, we maxed out the specs, did some case modding, and it turned out pretty good. But if you look at her right now, she's been ransacked, and she's seen some better days. And there's a reason for it. So if you notice, the GPU is missing. That's fine. The power supply is missing, and that's great. What happened is that I got other projects that are more important and I need to take the parts from it. That power supply is going in an ITX custom build that I'll be doing a video on, so stay tuned for that. The graphics card is moved on to a new home for a customer that needed it, so that's cool too. But she's kind of been sitting around for about 2 weeks and I kind of feel bad. So I'm just going to do the right thing and just use cheap components and downgrade things so I could strip her more and repurpose it. That should be fine. So the first thing, we're going to go back to the i5 7500 as the 6700 has a new home for a new project I'll be working on. So, you know, that's kind of cool. That Cooler Master i71, which looks fantastic and does a great job cooling. Yeah, I kind of need that for another project. So that's going to another home. So we're just going to use this cheap $20 Thermaltake UX100 for the i5 7500. Hopefully that should be fine and not cause me any issues. And hopefully I could make this work with this case. Just got to thinking about that. We'll have to think about it. And for the graphics card, I'll be using this 1050 Ti that I have all the way over here, which will be fine for it, but it has that PCI supplemental power that we kind of have to use, and now I need a power supply for it. That EVGA one that I bought was fantastic for the price, 750 watts SFX for about, I think it was $60 I paid for, or maybe $50. Can't remember. It was one of those Amazon refurbish, renew, whatever. And I can't seem to find a good deal like that. So I just did the right thing and found something cheap and sketchy. Now you gotta love Amazon shipping, as this is how I got it. They just put it in a whole white bag and just, you know, allow this to dance around and, you know, be extra secure and cautious. And it looks like somebody kind of, you know, played hacky sack with it, but you know, it's still fine and we'll use it just as is. So this is a Epivia SFX Power Series. Isn't that like a yogurt or something like that? You know, Activia. Oh, Activia. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, this was like 30 bucks. It was cheap and it was 500 watts. And I figured, you know, why not? You know, it's getting kind of cool in the garage. Maybe we could toast up the garage with a little fire. Hopefully not. So as you can see, it's sent like this with instructions. You know, that's cool. The voltages, combined power, total power 400 watts. I hope it's not a 400 watts. It gives you everything. Yeah, I got the 500 watt version, hopefully. And let's see, on the 5-volt rail, 14 amps, 12 volts, 33 amps. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be using high-end hardware with this. Now let's take this out of the box. As you can see, we have screws, and this is just lying around. A cable that feels very like squishy and cheap. Great. It's wrapped in this thing right over here, which we could kind of pull it out. And this is what we got. Nice small little cheap Mickey Mouse fans. 500 watts. It doesn't have no bronze certification, gold certification, or anything like that, so that's fine too. Now as far as our plugins, we have this one, which I'm gonna assume this is the graphics card one because it's a 3+1, hopefully. Yep, this should be the CPU one because you got 4+4. Nice. Let's see what we got. Plenty of Molex and this old guy right over here. Oh, great. Dinosaur technology. That's nice. Another SATA, 2 SATAs, another Molex. So is there actually more Molex than SATA? Nope. Okay, so 3 SATAs and 2 Molex, but that's still 2 Molex too many. And this is kind of wasteful right over here. But, you know, for 30 bucks, you can't expect much. Ketchup and mustard and our 24 pin. Great. Now, I will say, not that I have much faith in this thing, but, I mean, she feels hefty. She's got a little weight to it. She doesn't feel terribly cheap. The button feels all right. And looking inside these capacitors, I mean, they just don't give me that confident feeling. But you know what? That's fine. My poor Optiplex 3050. So I'm kind of going to do the right thing and just go ahead and plug all this stuff in to my power supply tester, because if there is a short or something got damaged in shipping, usually this thing is pretty good at catching it and letting you know that yeah, this thing should not be fired on. And we're off to a bad start because I can't even get this thing plugged in here. Oh great, that's fine too. Okay, we'll just leave that like that. Let's plug in our Molex. Yeah, Molex right over here. I'm not having much hope with the way these things are fitting. Let's do the VGA. I think I gotta like slide this in. Maybe. Yep, that'll work fine right there-ish. I mean, will you even, I mean, can a guy, I mean, really? I mean, these don't sit all the way in. Well, that one's sitting a little better. Everything is, I mean, it's as good as it's gonna get. And this thing is just, well, geez and bananas. All right, here we go. First spark test. We got the beeps. All right, let's see. On the 12 volts, 11.8, 12 volt, 12.5, 5.1, 12.4, 3.3. We're within spec-ish. It's not terrible. So far, I'm not getting any reads for any dead shorts, and all the rails and everything seem to be working. So, and mostly the fact that it hasn't sparked or caught fire yet. So I'm confident we could put this in here. So I really wanted to use that Thermaltake cooler, as RGB sells and RGB just tends to look cooler. But unfortunately, the mounting is different, and what I would actually have to do is just cut off the mounting brackets or the mounting screws, nubs, whatever you call them on the case, and then I could use that cooler. Well, I really don't feel like doing that. It's not worth it. And the stock cooler for the i5 7500 is more than enough. This is just going to be a budget gaming computer, as I potentially have a customer lined up for this. And for the price that we'll sell this for, which is really cheap, it will work fine. i5 7500 paired with its 1050 Ti should be more than enough to get their feet wet and definitely give them hours of happiness. And then if they choose to upgrade later, we could definitely do that. So now let's pop you out. Let's put old i5 7500 back in there, which I will say, when I did my initial video on this, messing with the i5 7500, it performed very well, and I was quite pleased with it. And that was paired with a 750 Ti. I never really got to do it with the 1650. Still waiting on that, by the way. I don't know. All right. Gonna glob on some thermal paste, which, use my Picasso brush. Cool. Now the memory, it did have that 16 gigs of Corsair, whatever it was, the black heatsink ones, and they were DDR4 3000. I'm just running 16 gigs of some, I think it's SK Hynix. Nope, these are actually Crucials. These are DDR4 2400, which is fine, still 16 gigs, but the 3000 was pretty much useless on this one. Now for my Sketchy Suspicious power supply, we're just gonna slide that in right over there. Now, gotta pop this in, which goes right up here. So we're gonna have to kind of do the same thing like I did before, and just kind of feed it right through. Well, maybe between the memory. Well, this is gonna be fun. Let's kind of just get it plugged in and see where we can route it. It's not terrible, but it works. It's like they designed that to happen. Our adapter for our power supply goes right in here. And hopefully these two guys get along pretty well. Well, that wasn't too bad. I think I'm going to unplug this and kind of feed it right through here. That way I have more room for activities and stuff. Yep, that's gonna look a lot better. I mean, not like you'll be able to see it, but you know, at least when I dream at night, I won't see it in my head. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll wire tie this on the bottom right over here. And that'll look nice and clean. And then the only one that we have to really worry about is our PCI supplemental. And all these other SATAs and Molecs will just wire tie them together and just kind of pretend they don't exist. Now for our graphics card, let's pop that right in. All right, almost back to her full glory, so let's go ahead and give her power. Hope for the best. So far, so good. No pops, ticks, or booms. See if we get a video. All right, so far, so good. Got a video, it's booting up. So one thing about Dell's, like when you change their hardware, they do that whole relearn, fake boot, and then it does the real boot. Kind of makes you nervous. So let's let this thing boot up, put a stress on the graphics card, CPU, and see how well this power supply holds up. All right, so I've been running AIDA 64 and Heaven Benchmark. Been running these tests for about 30 minutes, and this thing has not caught fire, which is pretty good, which means that I can sell it, right? So now time for some seriousness. Honestly, would I sell this computer as is? No, I wouldn't sell it with this power supply. It doesn't have the best ratings, and even though it's been holding up for this torture test for about 30 minutes, I kind of don't trust it. Number one, the brand name, the power supply feels really cheap, the cables feel really cheap, and it has mixed reviews. Number one, that fan, the power supply fan, has been known to fail, make weird noises. Some people have made claims of this thing burning out, frying components, and I don't like that. The only reason why I bought it is number one, for content, curiosity, but number two, I just kind of needed something to do because I was bored, but I digress. But honestly, I do have another power supply on the way. I was able to snag one up on eBay. Was it eBay? Yeah, I was able to snag one up on eBay, and I forget the brand what it is, but it is way more reliable and a lot better. And my biggest thing too is if a customer brings it back, I do want to be able to offer some type of warranty. And when I sell it, I want to give them some peace of mind, and me have peace of mind that this thing is not going to be a hazard or fail prematurely. A lot of times when I sell these computers, it's kids that love to game on end on the whole Fortnite and Roblox, and I want to be able to play and have a good experience and not get that whole computer crash and computer fry during the best part of the game. So to sum it up, don't cheap out on your power supply. Spend the extra money on something good. It's going to give you peace of mind, reliability, and also the simple fact that a lot of these power supplies have safety parameters in the event that you get some type of short, joltage, or whatever the case may be, even power supply failure, that the power supply will turn itself off, trip itself off, versus frying your components, and that's good peace of mind. There are some power supply manufacturers that they actually do warranty your components in the event that something does happen because of the power supply. I forget which ones it is, but you know, something to definitely keep in mind. So guys, if you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.